Hi, welcome back for our second Take a Pause podcast episode. I'm your host, Carly Okwali, and I'm excited you're joining us. Whether you're faculty, staff, student, or part of our amazing community. I would like to welcome back South Florida State College's president, Fred Hawkins.
Thank you for having me once again. Carly, I don't know about you, but I really feel the excitement this week. I thought Monday's convocation kickoff was great. It seemed like everybody had came back from a fantastic summer. When I was mingling with them during breakfast, I was hearing stories about how they spent their time. And I think everybody was excited to hear that, the message we were going to come up with. And I've heard a lot of great feedback from all the comments from everybody that addressed the faculty and staff on Monday.
That's great. Yeah. I know it's kind of annoying when the parking lot's a little bit full, but that means that our students and our faculty are back on campus. So it's just an exciting time all around.
I agree with you. And I love pulling in to see the parking lots full. Of course, everybody loves the summers off and, the Fridays not being here and everything. And I enjoy them just as much. But I like nothing more than being in my office and seeing activity on campus out the windows, or when I get to spend time with the students, or you're just passing them by and you say hello. And you can tell kind of the ones that were maybe here last year and then the ones that are new. And you want to make sure they look at you. If they make that eye contact, like, you need to ask, do you need some help? Are you looking for something? We've all been there, but it's just an exciting time.
Yes. I mean, I've only been here just over a year, but I'm already starting to see students that I'm recognizing. So it's really nice. So on Monday, we all joined together in the Alan J. Wildstein Center to celebrate the beginning of the new school year. And we got to honor our faculty and staff for their years of service. We recognized faculty who certified their courses through the nationally recognized Quality Matters framework. And most importantly, kicked off the 25-26 school year.
Yeah, it was a great time. It was good to see people that, continue to do their studies, our faculty. So anytime we can gain knowledge and make it better for the positions that we all fill is great. I know I spent a lot of time over the summer reading books, some I've read before, about dealing with people and leadership, things like that, because now I'm starting to fit in the role. Been here 2 years as of July 1st, and I think people are getting to know my personality a little bit better, but I feel as though I can always do research, do some studies, ask questions, talk to people about their leadership style to see if there's ever anything I can implement to make, my role here better and work better with the faculty and staff.
Yes, it's really important. I mean, you hear a year or two and it seems like, oh, that's such a long time. But when you're coming into a new role, it really isn't. You have that first year to just sit back and kind of see what's here and what's going on. So in year 2 and 3 is when you can start seeing like, oh, what are some of the changes I need to make? And what are the different perspectives I can get from the people around me?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It was about a year ago that we really started to talk to the trustees and everybody about changing what our strategic plan was. And, with the limitations, we're not allowed to raise tuition, of course, or lab fees. So we started thinking, what should be our focus? And of course, that's where It's Possible came from, to help increase enrollment, to get people to start thinking about either coming back to school or when they graduate, coming here to get that 2 years. A shameless plug, best return on investment is, and financially for people that are thinking about college, but maybe they're just not ready to decide what they want to study. The college system is the best for that. Or somebody that's looking to, a career change and go to one of our CTE courses. So that is now where we are with It's Possible, but now it's time for us as a collective group and faculty and staff to say Mission Possible. And that's what we're going with this year.
I love it. You did talk about Mission Possible, but personally, if you want to dive into Mission Possible and your role here and in the college, what does that really mean to you?
So Mission Possible for me is, I said it on Monday. I think a lot of the people that look at our institution and, of course, yes, we're considered small. We're one of the 10 smallest institutions of the 28. But I think that's actually an asset for us. I think that's a good thing. I talked about having agility. I think what people think our problems are opportunities. They're invitations for us to think differently, do things differently. And I hope that message really went out to everybody. I want everyone to look at what they do and say, is there something I can do better? Not only for them to excite them about their job incoming, but in the classroom, how can you change things up? I know you have a syllabus and, we'll talk about the elephant in the room again. The state does have requirements and restrictions on what we can do, but that doesn't mean we can't be innovative and just find new ways. And I like nothing more than when people talk about, I have this idea. And maybe it's not fully thought out, but discussing it with everybody. I said part of our vocabulary I don't want to hear this year is the word no. I want us to talk things out. Let's have those meetings. My door, I always say, is open. Come tell me of an idea you had or you think we can build on, or even it's a way of just doing something better. But I want everybody to come in with that mindset and say, how can we make it exciting? People talk about, oh, I got to go to work, or I got class tonight, or okay, I want them to look forward to coming. I want our students to want to be here for all the right reasons. And I think we have that opportunity to do that, one, again, because of our size, but that we can work collaboratively with each other. And that may not be somebody in your department. It may be cross department that helps and makes things better here. So there's not really a true definition. I'm leaving the door open for everybody to think for themselves and what they can do. We have some long-term employees here. And when I talked about think more about not what you're teaching, but how you're teaching it. What can you do to make it more exciting for them and for you? It's okay to have changes, and it's okay to that day maybe change things up. I was talking to Dr. Heston yesterday, and I said in more detail, I would like nothing more than give the students a chance to give you feedback maybe after a week or two. That's how you're going to find out, are they falling behind? Are they understanding what I'm supposed to be teaching them so they can move on? Kind of let them critique you along the way. But I love nothing more than when I've sat in the classes, and Roger Smith's really good at this. Everybody in his class is talking. It's not just him lecturing. Those are the classes I know I always loved, and you always feel like you're seeing are they getting it? Are they understanding it when you can get them engaged? So things like that. That's what excites me, and I'm hoping that excitement carries over.
I do always say that I learn the most from a conversation because I don't have everything in my head. But when you're talking with people, different perspectives, you can bounce ideas off of everyone, and you come up with a great idea together. It sparks those important change makers.
That's a great point that you talked about the conversation. But I think a lot of us forget that a big part of that conversation is listening. And a lot of the books and research I was doing over that, there was a theme that I realized all the way through was listening is just as much of a conversation as talking. And I know I've had a bad habit in the past of when somebody's saying something, I'm already thinking about what I want to say or how I want to respond. And I'm trying to train myself to be different in that. So listening to them and maybe having a pause before you say something. I think that is really important. So just because the word's conversation, people think it's always talking. It's just as much listening.
Very true. So this may not be a direct quote from your speech at Convocation, but I was feverishly trying to take notes and be in the mindset of our direction as an institution this year. But I wrote down, if we want different results, we have to try different things, and I think that really goes to what you're speaking about.
I think you hit it right. That's probably what I wanted to express, and I'm not sure it came across that way, but I'm glad you caught on to that. I had this theme when I was on my vacation. I was doing a lot of reading. The phrase "the standard" kept coming up, and you think of, everybody. We got this standard we have to meet, and I want to do away with that. I want the standard to be something new, a new hierarchy or platform that we reach for to try to get to. Still doing what we need to do, of course, and educating, but let's think differently and let's do away with the old standards. I know our trustee chair, Terry Ashley, he has a button that says, the worst thing you can say to him is, this is the way we've always done it. I'm really adopting that theme here. I don't want us to always do, now that granted, there are some things you have to do, but we don't always have to do everything the way we've always done it. And with our size and with what we're teaching here and the students, I think that really goes to what I want to see us achieve is let's set a new standard. I said it Monday. I like nothing more than for other institutions to say, how did South Florida State College do that? What made them think that way? Or how can we replicate that? Do they mind if we replicate? Let's go see them. Micro-credentialing with Florida Gulf Coast. We're going over to see them because I think that's a great program and bring that on to help our students in the future. But it's things like that we can be innovative and come up with new ways of doing things that others will want to replicate. So let's do away with that old standard and start thinking what the new standard should be.
Well, when you started talking about standards, I'm thinking sometimes we kind of put ourselves in a box with that. And a standard doesn't just put us in a box of where we have to act within. It's a foundation, right, to build upon. So a standard isn't really a box that we have to be in.
Yeah, that's a great point. Well expressed. I appreciate that.
Do you want to talk a little bit more about the big impacts made by South Florida State College in our Tri-County area and really beyond?
Well, what first comes to mind is, the SFSC Gives Back. That was a huge success. Wow. I mean, I didn't expect it to go as far when I brought that up at the last convocation. But, my job is to go out and make those partnerships. And so I'm always asking people to partner with us, fund a scholarship, fund a program, maybe, let's work to see how we can improve your business by bringing a curriculum in. We have to be giving back as well. And a way to give back, I think, is helping the nonprofits. And Anastasia, what a rock star. She has done so good with that. And I'm so proud of her and how she took it and run with that. But there was another part of that was a hidden kind of message that I was trying to get. And that's for all of us to get to know each other collectively as staff and faculty. When you can get out and do things outside, off campus, you get to know people you probably might have never talked to before, or you may know their first name, but you find out about their families and you get a connection, you build a friendship. To me, when we talk about South Florida State College being a family, that only helps grow that. So I'm hoping everybody gets a chance to be a part of that. Other impacts in the community, what we're doing. When I go out to let people know, I get excited when they're like, I didn't know you guys did that. I didn't know you offered that. To me, that is really my role, but it helps grow. And then we connect them, we bring them in, and we find ways to be an economic driver in the community. And I said this Monday, I hate to keep referring back to that, but if I had $1 for every time somebody said, the college is the economic driver, the heart of the Tri-County area, it is so true. Mm-hmm. But we can be more than that. There's people in Hardy and DeSoto that I don't think we've reached yet. So my goal is to spend a little more time over there this upcoming year, make those connections, even if it's with just a husband and a wife that maybe used to be in education that have retired here. How do we connect them to the college? What can we do? They probably still have a passion for education. I don't think that ever goes away with anybody. But at the end of the day, let's make sure that people know about us, not just what we offer, but what they can do and how they can be involved.
I really do thank you and Anastasia for the Gives Back program. I am really proud to work at South Florida State College and having that program. I only got to go to one last year, but I really hope to get more on my calendar for this year. And having the different options as well was great. I really love being outside and with plants and planting. And so I definitely chose that one. And it was really important just getting out and meeting the community members too. And like you said, working with alongside colleagues that we don't get to normally work alongside is just really a great opportunity.
Well, if I can follow up on that also, I think there was times when there were groups here that maybe they felt left out. we talk about the education, and Monday I probably talked a little more about the classroom, but, I think of the college, I think of our maintenance guys. Those guys are out there in the heat, they're running from the thunderstorms. You don't see them a lot, but you see the beauty on campus. To give them a chance to, hey, I worked with the president and we worked at Habitat for Humanity today. Things like that. I get to know them. They get to know me a little bit, or other faculty members, because collectively we are a family here, but it takes everybody, and it's going to take everybody for mission possible.
Another topic you addressed in your opening remarks was the bridges being built or pathways to possibility being made. How do pathways get us to our ultimate goal of student success?
Well, it's a process. These are things where through the It's Possible campaign, we have a lot of things that we haven't even launched yet. Mailers to every household here. And some people will say, well, why would you spend the money to mail every household? Why wouldn't you just get a list from the school district of juniors that are coming into their senior year? Well, as we all know, traditional households just aren't the same anymore. Right. So we have to think of the grandparent that's raising their grandchild. We have to think of the aunt and uncle that get this flyer in the mail and they're like, wonder what Johnny, my nephew's going to do next year. I haven't heard him say. They bring it to them. So that's just one part of, building those bridges to the community to let them know. Flyers. Why do we not have flyers in the fast food restaurants or in locations at Career Source, and letting them know what's going on? Somebody that maybe, had a bad turn of luck that they're relying on government assistance. We can change their life, by offering a career and technical education. And it comes down a lot of times to knowing that there's financial aid available. So our advising is so important. And then, you got our group that goes out to the high schools that are out there on Saturdays, holding events. Sophia, just amazing, amazing group that they're, I see them on social media. And that's another thing. If everybody that has our pages and sees posts on social media, like it and share it, get that word out. If you can just do those quick little things, we're all on our phones probably way too much. Yeah. But if you see that, that may hit somebody and be like, I didn't know that. You shared that. I saw it. Great. I'm going to go sign up for that. So plus it's informational. It may be even talking about the theater and what we're doing, or, taking in a softball game, baseball game, volleyball game. Just posting that, liking it and everything creates those algorithms. And we all are so reliable on technology now. That could be a big help, but we all can do our part. And that's building the bridges of letting people know what's happening here on our campus and what we can do or how they can fit.
Right. Well, and going back to saying that when you're talking to the community and they're not quite aware of all of the things that are going on at South Florida, or maybe they knew about what was going on 10 years ago here, and you're talking about the grandparents with the grandchildren, maybe they saw the flyer and know about a program that's here, and they hear their grandchildren talking about something that they want to be in the future. And, there's our future student to South Florida.
Absolutely. And, we even offer the classes for our seniors that if they want to learn more how to use their phone, pretty important.
Yes.
I know I've relied on, a teenager before to show me how to do something on a phone. So what are they relying on? Right. I mean, we are so broad in what we do and so many opportunities to connect with people in the community. It's just a great feeling. But nothing's better than knowing you are changing the trajectory of someone's life, especially if they're a first-time college student. And, we do have a lot of low income. Let's just talk about that in the room. Our 3 counties probably in the state are one of the low income areas. We offer that opportunity to change that for families and for generations to come. We can get that word out and let them know that, the education is there and it's affordable. We've got advisors that'll get you through it, and we can put you on a schedule and a plan that fits for you.
Yeah. What a huge impact you're making in those lives.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I feel the longer I'm here, the more passionate I get.
So sticking with the bridge theme, often bridges are being constructed when an area is growing or expanding their horizons into new territory, right? A word used in education quite a lot to describe new is innovation. And I would like to challenge our listeners, and I will challenge myself as well, to think about what bridge we will build this year. One of the areas I would like to reach out to and really lean into this year is the idea of using your voice. It's so important that our students not only learn the fundamentals while they're here, but also learn the power of their voice and how the voice can bring about positive change. From the teaser commercial we received at Convocation on Monday, it seems that the power of the voice and being actively engaged will be a big theme for Friday's kickoff.
That's what I'm told. I haven't seen everything. I've heard a lot, and I'm very intrigued by the meetings I've sat in. We're trying something new this year, of course. Usually it's just convocation for faculty and staff. Friday we'll come together with faculty, staff, and students. And I think there's going to be some role playing there, which is real important. As much as we're looking at screens and everything, we've gotten away from the conversation of looking somebody in the eye, and everybody overuses the term soft skills. I want us to focus more on that. If you're a faculty member out there and you're listening to this, I hope the one bridge that you try to build this year is getting your students to do a little more talking, more engaging, get them comfortable speaking in public. Let them know that it's okay to express your thoughts. You're not right or wrong. It's how you feel. But I think that builds leadership, it builds confidence. And I think that's what we need to do now for our students, especially our younger ones. Let them know that your thoughts, your beliefs, they're not wrong. We may not agree, but we can still have that discussion. You can always change somebody's mind, but being able to have those discussions, I think we're seeing way too much of in the world today of, if you don't believe the way I do, I can't be your friend. That's just horrible. So here we need to allow them to express their ideas freely, and I'm a big supporter of the debate conversations. I always loved that when I was in school. So I'd like to see more of that, to where the students challenge what they're being taught and ask questions. I think that is just important to building somebody's beliefs and how they're going to live through the rest of their life and everything. But I can go back and name faculty members and teachers I had in high school that really made an impact on me, because that's how it was taught. There was no wrong answer. It was just, this is what we're talking about today. How do you feel about it? Right. So I think it's a good way to have a classroom atmosphere.
Well, I always say, what a boring world it would be if we all thought the same and did the same.
Absolutely.
So really embracing those different perspectives and the differences between us. That's how we get a well-rounded world, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, let's stop relying on what we see on the internet and start talking about the real life issues with each other. So much of what you read is just, it's algorithms and sponsorships of things out there just for somebody to try to make a point. Go deeper, do your research, talk to people. And, and when I say talking to people, I really hope that amongst our students coming here, if you see somebody that seems to be sitting alone by themselves, somebody that isn't connecting, when I meet with the students, or I have the pizza with them once a month, or coffee and donuts and that, I will always go first to the person sitting alone. I want to pull them into the group conversation and everything. It's just so important that we talk to our students to find out what's going on, what problems they may be having, what can we do better. I will tell you, last year there was a few things that were brought up that I was like, I was unaware of that. Let's fix that for you. Yeah. And so I think that's where the best input comes from to make me a better leader and make this a better institution.
Yeah. Now, I know you are all about bringing fun into the work we do here. So I've come up with a few lighthearted questions for you to end off on. Does that sound good?
Sure.
All right. So first of all, beach day or a mountain hike?
I am a beach person.
All right.
I grew up pretty much on Cocoa Beach. Anytime it's a 3-day weekend, there's going to be a day that I'm going to be at the beach. I live on a lake here with a boat. My dermatologist probably hates my tan, but I am a person that likes to be outside in the sun, especially on the water.
Yes. What was your favorite subject when you were in college, and which one gave you the most trouble?
Oh, I'll start with the most trouble. Quantitative methods. My worst grade during the whole time I was in college. Today, I still don't know how to use that scientific calendar or calculator like I should. Struggled with that one. Never been a real strong math, and it's odd because the answer is always there. I loved anything with history, law. Those were always my favorite subjects. Probably what led me kind of into politics. But yeah, that's probably my solid answers on both.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on the math there. Favorite local restaurant?
Oh wow, I'm a foodie. As you can tell, you look at me. I don't miss meals. I love to cook. Um, I will rarely order a steak out. I feel as though grilling one at home is the best. I love my green egg. I love to barbecue, but I guess it depends. I'm not really a fast food person. If I'm in Avon Park, probably 18 East. I like that atmosphere. I like a changing menu. But probably the one my wife and I like to go to when it's date night, and I maybe have not had the best week with her. It's a marriage, so things happen. But the cellar, I think that I like that. I like the different varieties of food. I think people know this about me. I'm a bourbon connoisseur. I do like different bourbons and drinks, and so you can get pretty much anything there. But I really, really like that atmosphere. But as I said, love to cook, so I do a lot of cooking at home.
That's very nice. I will admit that I haven't done enough eating down this area, so I will have to try those out.
You won't go wrong. I like supporting the non-chain restaurants. And I think there's a place for food trucks, and I think there's a place for a good sit-down meal. And sometimes, there's a quick, I, I will share a quick story. I know I'm going off subject. I remember the first time my wife and I were hungry for lunch, and I had to get gas, and I went to a Wawa, and I said, "Hey, they got really good food here." And she's like, "Roller food? You're taking me for roller food?" I said, "It's more than roller food." And Wawa does have really good food, but I still can remember the look on her face. And now she's like, "Oh, I love, their food's there now." But the mom and pop restaurants really appeal to me because I like different menus.
Yeah. It's funny you brought up Wawa. I was the same. Like everybody was when they started building the Wawas around this area, and people are talking about Wawa, and I'm like, first of all, what is a place called Wawa, and why are people going to the gas station to eat? And then I explored their menu, and I quickly figured out why.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Okay, and to stick with our Mission Possible theme, if you had a secret mission on campus this week, what would it be?
A secret mission. Of course, I always want to know if what I'm saying is resonating with people. I do like feedback. If somebody would come up to me and say, "Hey, I'm not quite sure what you meant by that," or I love nothing more than somebody to come up and say, "All right, you said I can be innovative in my classroom. Are you okay with this?" That would really resonate a lot with me. But secret mission, I guess I like it when I talk to students and they don't know who my title is here. And that's one of my favorite things to do. I just love connecting with the students. Got to know a lot of the people, guys on the baseball team, softball team last year, going to see their games. But I think that'd be my secret mission, is just blending in somewhere. Because like you said, I like to have fun. That's why we did the Palooza at the end of the year last year. And I think the VPs have realized when they bring me things such as, our professional day, convocation, that they're always going to know I'm going to say, well, what's the fun in this? Mm-hmm. And I think people want to have fun, especially at work. If you can look forward to coming to work every day, and I hope everybody here does, it's not really work. And what we get to do, and like I said, the lives we get to touch, that's so much better. I mean, I used to think that being an elected official and in the Florida legislature was the dream job I could have until I got this one. I absolutely love this area. It's so much like home, and people have accepted me a little more now, I think, coming here. And when I just talked to the paper this week, they asked me a lot of these questions, like, after 2 years, what's it like? And, the paper wasn't real kind to me when they found out it was me coming here. But now I think that people realize, I have Dr. Heston does academics. I have Vice President Bukowski does student services. We have a great CFO that handles the finances. I feel more like the CEO. You can say president, and that's the title that goes along with it. But I feel more like a CEO, and I think right now I'm getting to run the best, I'll say, business as a CEO, but as a college president, I think we are primed to be the best institution of the 28 if we start mission possible. Right. And just moving forward with out of the box thinking and doing things different. That's what I want.
Well, Dr. Coonley, it sounds like we need to get President Hawkins in the Pete costume so he can go around on his secret mission.
I would love to be Pete.
Well, it looks like we have come to the end of our second podcast. I want to thank you again, President Hawkins, for joining me today to kick off the first week of fall 2025.
Thank you, Carly. I appreciate coming here. And of course, it's the old politician in me. I like to talk, so I will come back anytime.
Sounds good. If you've enjoyed today's message, please stay tuned for future episodes. And if you are interested in diving deeper into a specific topic, please reach out to me. We are always looking for our next story or guest.
So until next time, keep learning, keep leading, and remember, at SFSC, it's always possible.